All right, Jordan, we are now on example 2b. So, one thing I want to point out here is we have a minus sign in here. So, we just want to remember kind of have in our back of our mind that it's actually there, and we're going to have to just be careful of what we have in this bracket here, that minus applies to the n and the minus 2. So, I'm going to put my brackets in again. So what I want to do is I'm going to factor my numerators and denominators if I can, find my non-permissible values, and then subtract and simplify. So I'm going to factor, or I should say, attempt to factor n squared plus 3n minus 18. So I have two brackets. First bracket has a plus. What times a plus makes a minus is a minus. N goes in the front. So I need two numbers that multiply to 18. Those same two numbers subtract to 3. So I'll give a moment for those. Okay, so our numbers are 6 and 3. Okay, so that's what that factors to. And then we'll attempt to factor n squared plus n minus 20. Keeping in mind there's like an imaginary 1 there. So two brackets, same signs, plus and minus as the one above, and an n. So I need two numbers that multiply to 20, and the same two numbers subtract to 1. And you can pause it here while you think of them so I don't blow the surprise. So your numbers are 5 and 4. Okay, so I am going to rewrite our rational expression, and then I'm going to find the non-permissible values. So I have n minus 3 is our numerator, and our new denominator is n plus 6, n minus 3. Then I have minus n minus 2, and then our new denominator is n plus 5, n minus 4. So I want to find my non-permissible values, so I take each factor of the denominator, and those can't equal 0. So n plus 6 can't be 0, n minus 3 can't be 0, n plus 5 can't be 0, and n minus 4 can't be 0. So if I solve for those, n can't be negative 6, n can't be 3, and those are definitely part of our answer. N can't be negative 5, and then n can't be 4. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to find my lowest common denominator. But I see something here. So if I have the same thing in the top and the bottom of one of my terms, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Magic pen. Okay, so here is a term. Okay, do I have the same thing in the top and the bottom? Why, yes, I do. I have an n minus 3 in the top and the bottom. So that means those two things are going to cross off. Yay. Because I crossed off everything in the top, it doesn't mean I have 0 there. It really means I have 1 there. So if you end up crossing out an entire top or an entire bottom, it's replaced by 1. Don't replace it by 0 because that's saying everything's gone when only the top is gone. And I'm going to try that same trick again on this rational expression. So here I don't have something to cross off on the top and the bottom. But by doing that, I've just eliminated something part of my denominator. So my lowest common denominator will be even smaller if I hadn't done that step first. Okay, so my lowest common denominator will be, whew, that is the wrong pen. Let's try this again. Why isn't this working? Okay, oh, there we go. So my lowest common denominator is the biggest power of each factor. So I have n plus 6, n plus 5, and n minus 4. And since all of those only show up in once, there's no squares with those, that would be my lowest common denominator. So let's rewrite this. So my lowest common denominator is n plus 6, n plus 5, n minus 4. So then I ask myself, what do I need to multiply n by 6 by, or n by 6, let's try that again, n minus 6 by to get n plus 6, n plus 5, n minus 4. So our answer there is I need to multiply that by the n plus 5 and the n minus 4. So we already had a 1 there, and then I need the n plus 5 and then the n minus 4. You really don't need that 1 in front. I'm just put it there just to show I didn't forget about it. So then we have minus, and then I want to ask myself, what do I need to multiply n plus 5, n minus 4 to get my lowest common denominator? So the n plus 5 is already there, the n minus 4 is already there. We don't have the n plus 6. So what I originally had up there before was n minus 2, and then I also need the n plus 6. Okay, so I want to simplify my numerator, so I need to multiply everything out, and then I'll combine like terms. So that's a two-step process. So my denominator is still n plus 6, n plus 5, n minus 4. Okay, and by chance, we already know what n plus 5, n minus 4 is. It happens to be up here. So let's grab that pen. So n plus 5, n minus 4 is actually right there. So I don't need to multiply it out. We already did that. Or I guess when we factored it, we had it. So anyways, that it's really n squared, whoops, plus n minus 20. And then here's that minus sign I was telling you at the beginning of the question. So minus the following. So I need to put that when I expand my n minus 2, n plus 6, I need to put that in brackets because this minus sign, the minus sign in front there, applies to everything there. So n times n is n squared, n times positive 6 is plus 6n, negative 2 times n is negative 2n, and then negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. So this needs to apply to everything inside the bracket. So I'm going to do that step. This is a long question, as you've probably noticed. So if n squared plus n, I'm going to throw 1 in there, minus 20. So then I have minus n squared minus 6n plus 2n plus 12. And that's what it looks like when I apply that minus sign throughout that second bracket. Okay, finally, actually there's two potential steps. I want to combine like terms. So this n squared gets combined with this n squared. So n squared minus n squared is 0. So they actually go away. Yay! And then all my n's. So I have 1n minus 6 plus 2. So 1 minus 6 is negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So I have negative 3n. And then last but not least, I combine my negative 20 plus 12. So negative 20 plus 12 is negative 8. And that's all over n plus 6, n plus 5, and n minus 4. So if I could, I'd want to try to factor my numerator. The only way to do that is to see if there is a number that divided 3 and 8, but there isn't. So we can just leave it like that. If we want, we can really factor out. I'm going to write this in the magic pen because this is optional. We could factor out that negative, and this is the same as negative 3n plus 8 over our denominator. But by the time I write it down, the magic pen will disappear. I think that's it. Oh, it is. So your assignment for this section is, this is section 7.4, page 566. And I'd like you to do 5B, 6B, and 7A. As well, there's the checkpoint number 2. And this covers section 7.3 and 7.4. And this checkpoint is on page 575. And I would like you to do number 1 through 7. That means time's up. I'll see you in the next series of videos. Ciao for now.